Alright everyone, and so I've seen Materialists. This is A24's new movie coming from Celine Song, starring Chris Evans, Pedro Pascal, and Dakota Johnson, and this is surrounding a love triangle with these two men going after the woman that they love. And this will be my quick spoiler-free review and reaction, so I'm gonna get into it all right now. And now, when it comes to this movie, and specifically A24, what they put out, I like their stuff, and even that this is coming from director Celine Song, and with her recent movie Past Lives, and that movie was critically acclaimed. Going into this movie, for what she does with this, I gotta say I was really impressed for what I saw, especially with the concept and tone what this movie deals with, as of course with mature and those type of feelings, and of course online dating, which this whole course of the movie surrounds itself with. And especially with the plot of this movie, that is with a matchmaker played by Dakota Johnson that sets people up on dates, and especially when she goes to meet with the clients, and so sometimes it doesn't work out well. For the storytelling standpoint, for what this kind of surrounds itself with, is like find the one that you love forever, and even that things don't end well, and this is what the movie deals with. I like its tone. It's sort of the direction that it goes to, like at some points during the movie, and even that with the matchmaker that finds herself surrounded, especially with her ex, and with like the one man that like she fell in love with, and those two men are played by Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal, both going for the same woman. And even for the themes, what this movie tackles is of course being a rom-com and having that mature themes, and that's exactly what this movie deals with. And I just think that things could have been better, but even though I do have a bit of flaws with it as I go along, even though I want to talk about the performances, starting off with Chris Evans. I think this is his all-time best performance post-Marvel, after Captain America, and I think like he really takes it seriously for what his character goes through. Once you deal with the emotions, especially if you start to feel for this character for what he's really going after. And also, on top of with Pedro Pascal, and I think this is a definite true best performance. And even though that you see three Marvel veterans, I'm talking about with Captain America, Reed Richards, and Madam Web all in the same movie, that's what kind of sold me as an A24 movie, and especially for how the movie looked, and the different types of the tone that it was trying to go with. And even though I was on board for like some parts of the movie, but even like I'd say almost 2-hour movie, I gotta say it kind of like loses itself, but between like the middle half, as like some of the dialogue felt like slowly paced, and I don't know if that was like progressing the story much, but if there were some parts that I was like confused or like concerned about as the movie went along. But I think like there are some great performances on top of what the movie was really trying to tackle on many different points, and even with the love triangle that is surrounding these three, it really tries to set itself up to really try to make it a good story. And even in A24 fashion, it kind of makes you have a different feeling or type of like a full circle moment towards the end. But I just have a definite feeling that if that frustrates me to where things were heading. But I could definitely tell the movie was definitely at a very slow point at like some points during the movie. But hey, that's what an A24 movie does. They try to move slow to get to the good finale ending, especially like when you have that one final shot until the credits roll. I mean, that's what it definitely felt like. And even with the style and how it looked, it kind of felt like those early 2000s rom-coms that you've seen like back in the day. But I think for what Celine Song tackles with her vision as and her technique as a director, it really tackles those like romantic themes, and that's type of elements that we loved. And like, you can feel all the concept of love, and it's especially when one ends up with another, that it tackles the theme of love and romance, and even with Dakota Johnson herself, and I feel like she does a really great job. And in fact, I think Chris Evans and Dakota Johnson really share that chemistry together. And I can definitely felt it like all the way. I mean, their chemistry on screen really delivers a beautiful presence for what this movie sets itself into. And like even like by the end, but wow, it's just wow. And I want to touch upon this is that with each of the characters for how they are developed and the situation they are dealing with, and even with the choices that this makes in terms of writing, I felt fine with. But otherwise, it just felt like in like a completely different matter. I can already tell it was a beautiful movie, but not a fan of some of the stuff that they were going with here, or the way things were paced out. But I can definitely tell that I think people are really going to fall in love with this movie, especially if you're a fan of Chris Evans, Pedro Pascal, and Dakota Johnson and their work, especially if you love A24. I mean, this is the movie for you. I recommend it. I mean, and even though I have mixed feelings about some parts, but I don't know if it towards the end that I was worried about. But hey, I liked the movie for what it was, but I think you'll definitely enjoy it too, I hope. So I hope you like it as much as I did as well. But yeah, I mean, especially with Captain America, Reed Richards, and Man Web in an A24 movie, that's what sold me on the entire thing. And just with the performances coming from the three, and it just delivered such a good story, great performances, and definitely a great director for what she was doing. So yeah, I definitely liked the movie. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for here now. But the truth is, I definitely liked it for what it was as well. But that's gonna do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments down below, and if you got around to seeing Materialists, or if you plan on seeing it, and give you a rating between 1 out of 10. I'm gonna share your opinion in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and turn on notifications for future videos. Also follow all my social medias, all linked down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.